Namaskar. Welcome to this Monday evening edition of PGurus channel Ask Sumit. Now, what we are discussing today is a couple of events, and we are going to take all your questions. The topic can be anything. Ukraine is finally sinking. Russians are able to achieve what they could not have been able to achieve for last 3 months. They have achieved in 3 days. What's happening in Kursk? We're going to talk about that. North Korea is firing missiles. It has fired ballistic missiles and it has shaken the Korean peninsula. What is the reason for that, and what is the linkage to Ukrainian war? Trump is now officially talking of the possibility of a recession setting in. Well, it's happening. And Elon Musk is fuming. Pakistan, there's an epic meltdown after the fiascos which have happened. And here we also know that China is now feeling the heat. And meanwhile, in the Europe, Keir Starmer has some tall claims to make at least. We'll dissect them one by one and talk you through. These are 5 or 6 talking points what we have today, and after that we'll be taking all your questions. I'll hand it over to Mr. Sree Iyer for his opening remarks. Sir.
Thank you so much, Sumit. Viewers, even as we speak, Zelensky has just landed in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He has had talks with MBS, and I think tomorrow the talks start with American negotiators. I don't know who's representing United States. This is outside of what we have listed. I just wanted to give you one line. And the topic, the most important takeaway here about Ukraine, and Sumit, Sachinji, can you please check your WhatsApp? I've given you a link to take some pictures out because we can pictorially show you what the change in situation is on Kursk area, around Kursk area. So we'll give you that also. And we don't know who is representing United States, but I will tell you this: the aid stoppage is continuing. And the intelligence information that Ukraine was getting from US is still not there. So there is a lot of pressure on Ukraine to listen and sign the deal. So, and Russia is completely exploiting it. This is what war is all about. I'm not saying somebody's right or somebody's wrong. This is what is happening. Now I'll yield the floor to Sumit. Sumit, over to you. Ukraine sinking. We'll get you some pictures also as you describe. Over to you.
Sir, in the name of Bhagwan Sree Ganesha, let's do the Sree Ganesha's today's vlog. Well, friends, I think it was on Saturday evening, just one day before, we were telling you that there are 2 important things that have happened. First, Americans have stopped the weapons going to Ukraine. The money is stopped, and the most important piece of it is the intelligence is stopped. And I was trying to explain you how intelligence stopping is a big thing. Because when you stop the weapons, the impact might come in 1 month, it might come in 15 days. But when you stop the intel, the weapon will come the impact will come very fast. I discussed with you the scenarios, what a typical commander feels, what is this, light line of sight, first, FPV drones and how they're impacted, how the Russian arms movements, how patriots are dysfunctional. We all discussed all that. Now, what has happened? We were contemplating, and by Sunday morning, we already had a proof of that they will send in their heavy bombers. They also sent in their heavy bombers, Tu-95s, to disrupt a lot of critical infrastructure of Ukraine. For the first time, Russians use their strategic bombers, which are parallel to B-52s, which Americans have, because they know for sure the American shield and the American intelligence is down. Now, what is happening on the ground in Kursk, especially? That is where the Putin has a lot of stakes. It is believed that Russians have done strategic advances into the Kursk. There are around 10,000 Ukrainian soldiers which have been completely surrounded. A lot of them have been killed. They are left to a small alley, and their all supply lines and all their routes of entry and exit are being closed, are being cut off. It's a matter of time. The Kursk has to fall. Remember that Tu-95s have done their job. There is no American intelligence. I talked about the 12 strategic American bases. I talked about this unit 2445. What was unit 244 about? How was it built in, and how did it help to get that high-tech equipment which Americans could encrypt and know what the Russians are talking. All that is gone. Today, to give you an idea, there are at least 3 or 4 Patriot missile batteries in Ukraine, for example. One Patriot missile battery is more than $1 billion. It's more than $1 billion each. One missile which is fired from it is $4 million. When you send something to intercept, it's $4 million. The quantum of aid which is going to Ukraine per week from United States of America was $230 million per week. So that means around, how much? Around $1 billion a month, right? It's the minimum which was going there. So all this is stopping. And what is the intelligence stopping doing? That Americans are, Ukrainians are really devastated. They have no idea what is coming. And I don't want to repeat what I've already said, but the areas of Kursk are falling, the Russians are advancing, and Putin is taking the best advantage to get what was a kind of a bottleneck with him. Now, the challenge is that if Zelensky would have agreed to the deal, what Trump told him, today you have no cards. You only have cards if you are with us. See how does it decode? If Zelensky would have agreed to that deal, probably Kursk would be a subject of negotiation. If Zelensky signs a deal after 3 days, Kursk is already gone. It's a Russian territory now. Now it's off the table. So that is exactly what Trump was trying to explain. You have your cards as long as you are with us. And Zelensky replied, I'm not a cards player. So Zelensky is paying a very heavy price. Ukraine is paying a very heavy price as to how the things are shaping out. Sree Iyer has to make a point and I'll come back, sir.
So remember that meeting took place in White House on the 28th of February. 28th of February. And if you look at the picture here, the top picture shows you the situation on the ground as of March 2nd. And on March 2nd, you see the thing with diagonal lines. That is the occupied territory by Ukraine inside Russia. That is basically the Kursk region. Now, if you take a look at what happened on 6th March, and today we are on 10th March, and you can see that Russia has essentially cut through. This was on 6th March itself. After that, a lot of things have happened. Like, for example, there was a movie, James Bond movie, where James Bond tries to go and walks through the oil pipeline and gets out at some point. They've done the same thing. The Russians have tried to use the oil pipeline, and they penetrated to a place very close to the center of Kursk. And both sides are saying that the Ukraine is saying that, no, we killed a lot of Russians, and Russians are saying that, no, we prevailed, we are fine. So, but you have to look at what happened after that. A very important industrial sector of the city is now under Russian control inside the city of Kursk, which is itself surrounded by Ukrainians. So there is a huge other embarrassment for the NATO. It is believed, I'm not saying for sure, it is believed that there are NATO specialists embedded in the 10,000 people group.
Correct.
So if that comes out, okay, it's going to be a huge embarrassment for NATO. It's going to be a huge embarrassment for City of London, which is trying to, this is the last gasp, croak before the City of London is going to throw in the towel. It's really sad what is happening, because I feel for the Ukrainians and 10,000 people surrounded, and there's only 1 or 2 roads left to get back to, scramble back to safety. I heard 1 or 2 roads left.
That was also
yeah. So if they cut them off, then what happens? They have to surrender. If they surrender, trust me, Putin will parade every NATO specialist from that group and say, these are the people. So NATO's hands will be completely exposed there. And this is what they don't want. So what does it mean? They will all try to come back to Ukraine. Basically, Ukraine is deserting its defense positions. Then what happens? Then Russia can just walk in and dig in more, and they may demand even more area. So this is not ending well for Zelensky. He should have thought this thing through on February 28th. That's my limited point.
Sir, I mean, you are absolutely right. When Putin told him, you have no cards without us, and he said, no, I have the cards. Putin,
Trump told him.
Sorry, when Trump told him that if we pull at the rug, you will fall in 3 weeks. He said, no, Putin told me 2-3 days. Is exactly happening. Look, it was just 3 days back when the Americans told we're cutting the intelligence. Remember those 12 CIA bases which were implanted there? Remember the intelligence they were giving to them? All the 90% of the intel piece and the precise attack capability of Ukraine was dependent on American intelligence. And when the Americans move out, they are all gone. I mean, Europe is struggling and murmuring and whispering that they will step in. But sorry, these Europeans they've lost their shine. They're good for nothing. They can only have talks today. And I'm going to talk a lot about Europe and especially about UK in a while. So imagine this intelligence gone. Patriot batteries are useless. You have $230 million of equipment which is coming to you, which is stopped. And not only that, things are going for the worse now. If you look at the military experts of Ukraine, they are admitting one thing in public now. say, with all the support from NATO, with all the support from CIA, with all the support from America, and with all the support from Europe, we were just barely managing to hang around. We're just hanging on. We are not able to defeat Russia because Trump has admitted this war is unwinnable for Ukraine. Ukraine can never win this war. And now once they have completely got out of the picture, you can imagine the plight of Ukraine. I am imagining Ukraine will lose more land, more soil, and more legitimacy, and more Ukrainians, unfortunately, will die. Putin had a stumbling block in his game of things, that was Kursk. Now, with this things happening, and what I was just reading a couple of minutes back, even these 1 or 2 roads which are there are believed to be taken over by Russians. So basically, the story of Kursk is over. Whatever edge Zelensky had a little bit over the Russia in Kursk, that is all gone. And Putin is going to get more and more territories. And it won't be surprised that if Ukrainians start deserting their post. And yesterday in Endgame China, I told you about 2 things. Now, Putin has agreed to push more oil, pump more oil, right? So that Trump wants the oil prices to come to $67 a barrel, so that the American economy gets that leverage to do the manufacturing and to be productive. And with it, Putin has promised Trump, those 2 million tons of aluminum, which it needs for it to make cars, for it to make aeroplanes and ships. Russia has agreed on that deal. It was agreed in Saudi Arabia. And again, the rare earths will be sold to America by Russians at a 45% price, lesser than the Chinese what is offering. So Putin and Trump are really working at a tango. And Xi Jinping is really rattled that we talked yesterday. So this is what is happening here on the Russian-Ukraine front. So, and there are a couple of things which have happened more, which are just adding to this. Now, Europeans, as usual, are posturing. They are, as usual, trying to act as a united house and, all that and all that. But what is happening in Ukraine? What is happening in Ukraine is the following. There was a meeting. Again, Zelensky was welcomed there. There were people from 30 countries, some military leaders, official leaders that had come in. Though Trump has mocked Macron's idea of sharing the nuclear bombs. Even I mocked him. But anyway, that's not important. So now what is happening in Ukraine? 𝗘𝗏 has all of a sudden said that we are ready to back Ukraine. We are ready to back Ukraine. And we are ready to send boots on the grounds and planes in the air. Hear me out. Boots on the grounds and planes in the air. Now let's look at some of the key aspects of UK today. First aspect of UK is you have 70,000 troops. If you send 20, 30,000 to Ukraine, you're left with 40,000 troops. That's your first aspect. So that's boots on the ground and planes in the air. Let me share with you some interesting statistics about Ukraine. Though today the Jonathan, what is his name? Jonathan, the president of Vanuatu, he revoked the passport of Lalit Modi, and he has really snubbed them. I hope that 𝗘𝗏 would have the same courage to do it, but he won't have it. Now, what is happening in UK? What is the GDP growth, sir, in October, November, December last quarter? Abhi jo gaya na? What is the GDP growth? 0.1%. 0.1.
Right? In UK, right?
UK. Because I'm quoting 𝗘𝗏. He says I will put boots on the grounds and planes in the air. Okay, Mr. Starmer. Let's talk some numbers now. 0.1% is your GDP growth. 0.1%. Technically, you are in recession, but still I give you, benefit of doubt. Your inflation is at 3%. With 0.1% economic growth, your inflation is at 3%. Your unemployment is 4.6%, and your repo rate or interest rate has climbed to 4.8%. Imagine these 4 parameters. The people who understand economics, the people who understand business, these 4 parameters are good enough to talk to you what is the economic health of the United Kingdom. And on the top of that, you have this deep state headquarters there. And on the top of that, out of your 70,000 troops, you want to send 20, 30,000 to Ukraine. What is left in Ukraine? What is left in UK? I don't know why 𝗘𝗏 is doing this posturing and getting everybody right, left and center. Your economy is on ventilator. You are going to fail as an economy. And imagine a day when money laundering doesn't happen in UK. You $1 trillion which come, more than $1 trillion which come every year to money laundering. Imagine a time those get pulled off or some regulations come in, they are not able to land in UK. You are finished, guys. You are history. You are relics of the 𝗤𝗎𝗃 era, and you are today posturing that we'll save the Europe and we'll do the defense spending and we'll put boots on the ground and planes in the air. Don't become like Pakistan. You might not have money to fuel them. That's honestly where you are heading to. I mean, that is the plan. And imagine you have never ever been able to move a brick without American support. 2 days Americans have pulled their rug. 2 days, 3 days. And Zelensky is falling like a house of cards. And even I made a very responsible statement with all your might. Europe, NATO, America, and everybody. Zelensky could just hang on in front of Russians. Imagine if you're not there. Imagine the plight of Europe vis-a-vis Islamists and, commies and others. If Americans pull out the hand from you, you will be finished by Islamists itself. You don't know, and you don't need anybody else to come and if they start invading you, what they this Italian island of what I forgot the name, Lampedusa, when they started coming, if they start just coming like that, you're over. Mr. Keir Starmer, are you bluffing?
It's an invasion of illegals.
Yeah. Are you bluffing at 0.1% economic growth? 3% inflation, 4.6% unemployment, and 4.8% repo rate. You're talking of boots on the ground and planes in the air. Have you completely lost it? Whom are you lying to? And your good brother, Justin Trudeau, was lying 1% fentanyl. What about the biggest fentanyl lab in the world, which was found in Canada? British Columbia. You all have lost it. If I start pulling the numbers of each one of you and exposing you, you will have nowhere to hide. You will not know where to run. Tell the people of your country, don't become like Pakistan. And Pakistan is in economic trouble. They start talking Ghazwa Hind, Jihad, Hindu, Bharat, attack. I mean, have you reached to that level? Are you all Ukrainians in making? You are heading towards economic disaster. And on the top of that, you want to put your country in a war so that your country goes 30 years back in time. After you get into your country goes 30 years back in time. And what did Putin tell you? Putin told them, sir, if you want to go and fight UK, France, you want to go and fight Putin, go and fight Putin. I have no problem. Lado. I'm walking out of the NATO. I'm walking out of the United Nations. What will be you? What will be you? And when 𝗟𝗏 Nadin, the lady who heads the European Union, she's talking Europe will build a defense, Europe will build an army. For the sake of God, do you think it happens tomorrow? Where will the money come from? Where are you going to find that money? And building army and ammunition factories and all, it takes 10 years. So would you have a life of 10 years? Are you bluffing your people? And with your demographics, with your failing economies, with your aging population, you have completely lost it. That is where the position is. She said that I have to, you make a point that I have to link it with the Elon Musk.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the takeaway here is that the deep state, or what you call a city of London, the thing that is completely holding this thing together, is losing more and more. And Mark Carney, the guy who is now the new Prime Minister of Canada, he has zero administrative experience, zero in running a government. And he has the membership of 3 countries, Canada, Ireland, and United Kingdom. And he was the reserve, the governor is equivalent to the Reserve Bank governor. He was the governor of the Bank of Canada, and from 2008 to 2013. From 2013 to 2020, he went on to become the governor of Bank of England. And now they think that this guy is an economist, he knows what to solve, how to solve this problem, and they are going to bring him as a face in front of Trump to hope and see that somehow, suddenly, US will play nice. There is something more than that. You guys are not addressing the real problem. The reason I wanted to come in was you triggered that thought. The biggest fentanyl bust took place in Vancouver. And guess who else was there in that? It has a hand of some of these rabid Sikhs also in that. Many of the arrests were Sikhs.
Ganganpreet
Randhawa. Yes.
Let's not bluff ourselves.
Yeah. So you can go back to Elon Musk Connect, and then sorry for the interruption. I just thought
you brought out the Canada also, sir. Now I have to tell you about this new Canadian guy. 2 things. The new magician of Canada. I call him the new magician of Canada. Old magician is waning. The new magician. The new magician of Canada has worked more for multinational companies and more for foreign banks than Canadian banks. That's the first thing. Second thing, I'll just take 5 points. Second thing, he's the first unelected Prime Minister of Canada because the Canada's constitution provides for that. He's not elected. He's at least Trudeau fought the election. Third thing, take my word, he has time till 24th March. Sree sir, before 24th March, he's going to dissolve the assembly so that he doesn't have to face the music of the opposition or his own party and all. He'll have a nice and gala time. And Asconi are from the same system. and you know what he's going to do? He is going to make himself money, and he is going to take Canada to a position where you cannot pull it back. That is what this guy is about. Because this guy has no legitimacy. He could make to the post of the Prime Minister because, you know, Sree sir, why? Because he could raise maximum money for the party. That is his only credential. Paisa zyada laya. So he could raise maximum money for the party. Now, Canada, I think, is going from bad to worse. That is my assessment of this guy. Though he's talking about I'll solve his relations with India and all. And he has no solutions to anybody. And sorry, with due respect to it, we also had a rock star governor of the RBI. Imagine if that rock star would have become the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and China would be in my drawing room. I mean, so let's not get carried by these people having fancy titles. So I mean, let's see what happens. Okay. In the meanwhile, friends, you have to like this, please. Like a button, like, share, subscribe, like this video. We need your liking because we are going to the next topic, which is more interesting. Like, Sree sir, kindly let me know what is the like count, because I am requesting everybody by like karo, please. Liking is very important because, you know, we have to search on this platform called YouTube.
I want the view count is equal to like count. That is my wish, and that is Sumit-ji's wish also, because that gives us the virality. Look, we don't understand why, but we feel like somehow, somewhere, somebody is putting an iron thing to hold it out so that we won't be able to take it to the same virality that we used to in the last month or 2 months ago. We used to have a lot of virality. Just please like this video. Like I said, look, we are putting as much information, and these are all verified, okay? And as much as we can, like within the minute, we are giving you the information. And we have multiple sources that are giving us information, working very hard. Please help us out. Over to you. I won't disturb you.
I said, now here, with this whole fiasco going in Ukraine, things don't end here. There's a twist to the whole story. The twist comes from billionaire Elon Musk. What does Elon say? I have been talking to you. Look, Ukrainian military's backbone is Starlinks. All the communication which goes today is on Starlinks. Starlinks has two modes. One is the normal mode. One is slightly military version, which handles some basic encryption and all. Maybe a 256 kbit encryption and all. Now, today, if you look at the GSM and fixed lines of Ukraine, they are all destroyed by Russians. 99% of the military comms, or more than 90% of the military comms, happens on Starlinks. And what did Elon Musk threaten Ukraine today? He said, hey, I am going to switch off the beam. If I'm switching off the beam, imagine you will have a Ukrainian soldier holding something like this, and this doesn't work. I have something like this doesn't work. My phones are not working. My lines are not working. Putin's Tu-95s are destroyed. Whatever was working 2 days back, Tu-95 destroyed that. Now, if Elon Musk switches off the beam, then what is going to happen? Elon says Ukraine's defenses will collapse in a matter of day or two. This is what Elon Musk has to say. So Ukraine will sink in a day or two. I have to just switch off the beams. And he says it takes my left hand to switch off the beam. If I switch off the beam, you're gone. And fine. And by the way, let me bring mighty Europeans here. You know, Elon's technology works on LEO satellites. Elon has more than 7,000 LEO satellites up in the air, which are up and running. LEO are these low orbit satellites, which have these big spot beams. So the data throughput is very high. Now, Europeans came up and said, we have Eutelsat. And I worked with Eutelsat. I've not been employed there, but I've dealt business with them. Eutelsat, to give you a comparison, he has 7,000 satellites of Elon Musk. Eutelsat has around less than 600. And the spot beams are not where the Elon is there happening, right? The challenge here is that even if you want to move to Eutelsat today, the terminals are big, that it's a different technology and all. And the switch from Starlinks to Eutelsat will take you 3 or 6 months. So, my friends in Europe, do you have 6 months for Zelensky? Do you think Putin is going to go on a holiday for 6 months and say, okay, buddies, I'm going in my, what do you call that, Putin's palace, it's called some other, dacha. I'm going to go my dacha. And I'm going to come after 6 months of having a lot of champagne and beer. By the time, fix your Eutelsats. Even if you get these Eutelsats up and running, they are no match to Starlinks. And I know how Eutelsat works, and I know how fast they are. ELON in the peak of war could ship hundreds and thousands of terminals, few 100,000 terminals and such to Ukraine. That's why Ukraine is up and running. Go and talk to Utilset. They will have not have people responding to you within 48 hours. That is how it works. So I think Europeans, you are really in some kind of a perpetual hibernation. If you understand SATCOM, which I understand very well, you are saying that Utilset is an answer to Starlinks. Oh my God, give me a break. I mean, nobody is going to buy that crap. Sorry. I'm sorry to use this word. So, I mean, one of the European guys says, oh, I'm going to go and set up a plant of NASAMs in Ukraine. Bhai, you are doing this pakoda business that you need a kadai and a big 𝗥𝗘𝗙 and you will start ruining the business. I mean, these are all atrocious claims. Somebody says, I'll not give my petroleum supplies to American Navy and I'll teach them a lesson. I mean, you guys have literally lost it. And what are you, European Union? You are a group of countries and your countries have nothing in common. And you know how you're shaking and trembling in front of China? We discovered that yesterday. We talked about that yesterday, about how Chinese are treating your German cars. We talked about that in Endgame yesterday. If you have not watched, do watch Endgame. So this is where, 𝗟𝗓𝗏 𝗔𝗡𝗏 and the European bluffers. So Elon is really fuming. And imagine that time, if push comes to shove, if Zelensky and European Union doesn't behave, there's also a grapevine talk that Macron and Stammer may accompany Zelensky to the White House or wherever the discussions may happen. But Putin and Trump are against it. So if Elon is directed by Trump to switch off the beams, I think that will be imminent fall of Ukraine. Ukraine is gone. And if I know it, does the comedian not do it? Comedian should know it better than me. So if I know it, the world knows it, comedian should know it better than us. So this all gimmickry, this all euphoria, remembers go back to those meetings of Islamic nations which used to happen in Riyadh, and you print a picture. Oh, this is what we are going to do. Exactly, that is what the European Union is doing. You are wasting time doing these meetings. These meetings are going to get you no good. You are wasting precious time. I want Ukrainian people to be saved. I don't want merciless killing. I don't want Russians or North Koreans or anybody to be killed. We want this disaster to end. We don't want the ego of this comedian, the psychophancy of this comedian to slaughter men on the ground. That is what we don't want. And that is where the sanity prevails. So this war has to end. So Elon has a key with him. And after that, we are going to talk about the PAK meltdown. Well, in Pakistan, there has been a big meltdown. You know why? By the way, I have to talk one more subject before that. The one more subject which we are going to talk is, why is Saudi organizing all these talks in Riyadh? Look, Saudi, MBS is very smart. MBS wants to be seen as the #1 power in the Middle East. MBS knows Iran is down. MBS knows UAE is not there. So who is the de facto power in in the Middle East? It's MBS. So MBS wants to hold all these negotiations, all these talks with them, because MBS doesn't like Qataris. Qataris don't like MBS. So both are Sunnis, but they don't like each other. So Qatar was trying to become that negotiator and all. But after Trump discovering the money which Hamas used to build all the tunnels and to kill the Jews and to have all this, arms and ammunition dumps in Gaza was funded by Qataris. So Qataris have taken a bit of a backseat. MBS is trying to be the big boy, trying to get all the people, come here, sit in my house, discuss, and let's negotiate and do. That elevates the stature of Saudi and MBS. And imagine a day if Trump and Putin come to Riyadh, or for example, wherever in Saudi, and they discuss the peace deal, suddenly the elevation of Riyadh, the elevation of MBS, and the elevation of Saudis will be at a different level. He will be the undisputed king of the Middle East. And I'm very sure Iranis are not going to like it. So if Houthis tomorrow file a couple of missiles accidentally on Saudis, don't mind. And let's not forget, still they are Patriot missile batteries protecting the holy cities of Makkah and Medina by American soldiers, fearing a missile attack from Houthis and Iran. This is also a reality of life. I'm not bluffing this. This is where the reality of the world, and they're all Christian soldiers mostly, are protecting the holy cities. This is even the reality of the Islamic world. So you have the most sacred sites of the Islamic world being protected by the Christians and the American batteries against Sunni or Shias of Iraq and Houthis, which are against Shias of Yemen. This is also a reality. So Middle East is also evolving, and we didn't cover Middle East today because it was a big topic. It would have taken 80% of our time. So we avoided that topic. Maybe tomorrow we're going to talk about it in detail. So this is also happening. So you have to understand what is the game MBS is also playing. Now from MBS, we move to Pakistan. What is happening in Pakistan? Pakistan, epic disaster. after Champions Trophy meltdown, Pakistanis have lost their hope. Pakistanis are in a bad shape. And after the fiasco, what happened? The new Champions Trophy never ever will be hosted in Pakistan. Empty stadiums, no sponsors, nobody willing buying to take tickets, and nobody is willing to do this hybrid format because we're from one here. So Pakistan, there's an epic matter. I'm being told that Pakistan is in a perpetual state of shock. These Pakistanis are shocked. They don't know what to do. And their government and all, everybody is lost and everybody is blaming each other. Oh, this happened, that happened, that happened, and that happened. But you look at the humiliation of Pakistan, and though India won yesterday, it's a good thing. But at the end of the day, the biggest user is Pakistan. And here in Pakistan, the killings are continuing. 𝗪𝗡𝗙𝗏, BLA, BLF, after that, they have got their hands together. Now, I mean, what we reported first as the brass, that is on PGurus channel. I see even today mainstream media talking about it. But, the kind of formations that have happened in Pakistan are really mind-boggling. Trump is not interested in Pakistan. UK is not interested in Pakistan. China is not interested in Pakistan. And by the way, that remembers me of China. China is talking about that, America cannot have one-way relations with China. You want to do trade and business with China, and at the same time, you want to have trade wars with China. Now, who the hell wants to do business with China? You wanted to go in business with America. Americans did not come to you for doing business. So why does China, seeing that they are still in a state of, perpetually the, the factory of the world? The fact remains that a delinking of supply chains is happening. Yes, there are some components, some places which the delinking will not happen readily, but it is going to happen. China has been bragging and boosting and talking a lot. Oh, we are not impacted. We are going. And by the way, likes, please please like a button dabaye, please press the like count, right? Please press the like count. Now, China has been talking about we are not affected by Americans, so we don't give a problem. We don't give all Wang Yi coming with a brave face and trying to wear a new suit and iron it, with the starch and trying to present that macho picture. But the numbers which have come out from China, the exports of China have fallen. The imports of China have fallen. The imports of oil, gas, and energy things have kind of which run the energy component of the factories and industries and the households, they have fallen. And with it, the biggest hit would be those Chinese small industries. There are these malls. I don't know where is that place where you have those thousands and thousands of shops. They all sell. They're very small shops. They sell these small items. Nothing sells in the shop. People come there, look at the item, and place orders. Now, these small items go everywhere in the world. And this was a few $100 billion of export. Let's say something like a pen, something like a bow tie, something like a cuffling, something like toys, dolls. Those small things. And China, because of its cost advantage and the subsidies for CCP, was able to give it to them at a very affordable prices. Now, the biggest fear is this industry of China, which is few $100 billion of exports, with 20% tariff, they are gone. They cannot survive with 20% tariff. And remember that Temu and Shimu, whatever that apps are, they are gone. American Post is not going to carry your stuff. And whatever privileges you had at less than $800, the tariffs did not apply on you. Trump has revoked that. Anything from China will have tariffs. American Post will not carry you. So your viability is gone. These people used to work on 5% margins, 5 to 10% margin. So, now with 20% tariffs, these people are gone, and these big malls and all of China are going to shut down soon because there are no buyers. And yesterday I told you, on Endgame, how a new model has evolved in Indonesia, how they're beating Chinese black and blue. And they found a new way, like Pakistanis, not to pay, and how Chinese assets are being really put to task in Indonesia. And the time is not far away when Indonesia will also become another Balochistan for China. So that's happening on the China, and the tariffs are really started showing the colors. But yes, Trump has spoken that recession cannot be ruled out. There might be a part of the world, there might be a part of the America which might go into recession soon, because this is something which is necessary to set the apple cart right. It's like somebody gets operated, you have blood, you have pain, you have those stitches, you have those injections, you have those oxygen masks and whatever not. But after some time, when you are recovered, you come up as a more able individual, and you are able to live and survive and do your things better. That is what this tariff and all this is going to do about. But Trump has admitted that we cannot rule out recession. So that's another important news. What even me and Mr. Iyer have been talking about that. And Sree Iyer ji told you last time that this is something which can happen and how does it work and all. So this is also something which we must bring up to you. But we are all braced up, we are all ready. Let's see how it happens. And recession will not hit across all the industries. There'll be some industries which will be hit more, and some it will just touch, and some it won't even touch and more. So it's not a complete fiasco. That's the point I'm trying to make. But it's always said, always keep your gunpowder dry. That's how it works. Over to you, Sree sir. You wanted to make a point.
Thank you so much. And Sumit, let's take a few questions because this is Ask Sumit session. So we should answer or try and answer all the questions today. We have a lot of questions for you. Let's try to keep them short, the answers. And viewers, please talk or ask questions concise way. Don't put long stuff. It will be easier for us to read it. Thank you so much. Let's start with, first question, please. 𝗤𝗏𝗍 Krishnan wants to know, Sree and Sumit, I would like you to conduct 2 shows, one exclusively on wokeism and the other exclusively about Obama. Also, Sree, one episode about the art of reading and remembering. Well, yes, art of reading and remembering, absolutely, I would love to do that. We will, Sumit.
No worries. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
𝗤𝗏𝗍 Krishnan says, sir, you are a strong advocate of purchasing made in India products. I recently purchased several electronic items. They were made in India and made by Indian brands. BOULT and BOATCTD. Very good. Very good.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Even I am buying a lot of stuff. Even if you look at this iPhone cabling wires and all. This wire which I'm using, for example, this is 100 rupees, made in India, and I'm 8 months now. No problem.
I'm using the uninterruptible power supply for the router, broadband router.
No problem. Even I use the same, made in India.
Yeah, and it's made in India, all made in India, something like that. And the beauty about it is I can lose power. I have a generator running, but it takes about a minute to kick in. But 1 minute also, this is there. This UPS takes care of that. The UPS takes care of that. So the broadband router never loses power.
Even say with me, you see at times the generator comes up, before that the internet is working because the broadband router
correct.
I wanted to talk about this product, 100 rupees, 8 months, no problem, made in India.
Next one, please. Shashwat Singh ji, thank you so much. Sree sir and Sumit sir, what will be the impact on Indians working on US on the H-1B visa in getting green card after Trump announcement of gold card scheme? The two are not connected, in my opinion.
No, the two are not connected, but in the long run, Shashwat, what I feel that in the world over, you will go more to work permits. Work permits which will only be limited to employment and not leading to something like green cards and citizenships and all. So there'll be 2 ways. Either you go through this golden visa, or will be one more category, and there'll be a third bigger category where you just come, work, and move away. That's how the world will eventually move to.
Warning OP1 wants to know, would the tariffs affect the Indian IT service industry in the long term? Yes, you should watch Sriram Seshadri's Hangout with me that took place on Saturday at 9 a.m. on PGurus channel. Do watch that one. Sumit, if you want to add.
They will, sir. Without a doubt, they will.
Yeah. Govinda Guru wants to know, almost every part of the world is in some kind of war. When did similar things happen last time? What is the chance of World War III?
Trump is trying a lot to prevent the World War III. That is when he scolded Zelensky and told him, we are trying to start a World War III. I'm trying my hard level best to stop it. And Trump has said this a couple of times before. And, this all depends on, if you ask me, there have been around 350 years back, such situations happened. When the almost whole of the world was fighting. And world wars, of course, the time periods they have happened in the very recently. It's not few hundred years back. Third thing is that, when certain things reach an epitome, good or bad, or, then some reset happens naturally. I think you have to look at it a bigger way from a Sanatani perspective. It is that big reset which is going to happen. You can't be, for example, you can't be printing notes and surviving. You can't become like China trying to invade everybody. So, when humans will cross those limits of Jio and Jinedo, live and let live, and don't believe in Vasudevam Kutumbakam and believe in, I'm destined to rule over you and, all those things, then these resets eventually happen to set the level playing field. That's how I look at it. Balaji KR, sir.
Thank you so much, Balaji. Definition of de-dollarization is USD losing hegemony as reserve currency status. When devaluation of dollar happens, others are not forced to hold and trade in US dollar. Balaji, it's a little complicated in the sense that the amount of dollars printed, if let's say there are 100 notes printed, 35 are only used inside US, 65 are used outside of US. So whatever adjustment US does to the dollar, it needs to take into account both these factions. So lots of things are being talked about. We will bring in experts and talk about this in some detail. So do stay tuned. We will get you the data. Sumit, if you want to add to that.
I just want to add one thing, sir. Even if you look at the rupee, we have devalued rupee a couple of times now, right? And so if you talk of devaluation of dollar and all, still the 70% of the currency, global currency reserves globally are in US dollars even today. So it might impact dollar bit here, and de-dollarization means when dollar is removed and an alternate currency comes and takes over. So adjusting and it's like tuning your car a bit for mileage or getting rid of your car. They're two different things altogether. You can always tune your car, get your service engine up and whatever. But getting rid of the car and buying a new car is de-dollarization, or how we put it straightly. That if you do a bit of value adjustment, that might impact the dollar reserve bit here and there. But you see, you have to look at another side. Today, 20% of the reserves are in euro. The way European Union is going, I think it's advantage to dollar. I have discussed that before also. The way European Union is going, it's advantage to dollar. Who is going? Are you going to increase? Is India going to increase, for example, its reserves in euro? No. Look at the plight of European Union. We will not. And it is advisable not to do it.
Next one, please. Balaji KR again. Thank you so much. I respect your analysis a lot. US will stay strong and they'll stay in the game, but US dollar reached rupee 8 by 2029 as no use that of paper.
I don't believe this.
I don't think it'll go down that much.
I don't believe.
See, one of the theories being given, and we'll expand on this with experts. This is what I'm hearing, Balaji, that US is going to take stock of gold, what it has, and it is believed that it is trying to ramp it up to 16,000 metric tons. The number that we have found so far officially is 8,134 metric tons. The US is trying to double that to get to 16,000 metric tons. You know why it has to be at that level? Because it is believed that China is at 30,000 and Russia is at 20,000+. Russia has gold mines, China may or may not. So you have to be in the same ballpark before you start saying anything. Officially, US has only 8,000 metric tons. Wait till US gets to 16 to 18,000 metric tons for itself. And it is paying top dollar right now, $2,900 per ounce. And it is actually getting all the gold. If that happens, and then what might happen, again, this is all very, very in debating stage now. You may have two versions of a dollar. A domestic dollar that is gold-based, and it will be also on a blockchain, and an international dollar, which is not going to be gold-based, it is going to be fiat currency. So what's going to happen then? Immediately people will say, I don't want the international dollar because that doesn't have the gold backing. US is admitting that one of them is not going to be as valuable as the other. So the international US dollar will have a pressure, it will start falling down. All of us, everywhere outside the US, who are holding on to dollars in our own banks will hit the devaluation, not those of us who are keeping the same money. The dollar money that you have is inside US, it will be considered as the domestic US dollar. These kinds of problems could arise. I'm not saying this will arise. These kind of problems could arise. So stay tuned, keep watching. We are getting a lot of international experts who understand finance and banking. See, Mark Kearney is again one more step in that direction. He has now said that he's going to give up Irish and UK citizenship and stay a Canadian citizen. But it's okay. But point I'm trying to make is you can't be a prime minister without having any administrative experience. It is not good. You see what's happening with Mohammed Yunus.
Comedian, sir. Comedian ko dekho na.
Magnet Ranga wants to know, US economy in shambles because of unbridled corruption, unnecessary intervention worldwide under US AID and the wars it encouraged. Will duties help US recover? Trump corrects other issues.
I think if you look at what Trump's set of beliefs is, he says takes you back to early 90s and ending 80s, wherein US used to impose a lot of tariffs. Tariffs are a way to control a lot of countries economically, not by bullet, but by dollar. If you look at, I was on a TV debate and they were all talking about this, when people talk about what is the relation between America and Russia, what is the relation between America and Canada, and what is the relation between, America and Mexico. I say, you're forgetting the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is fentanyl, and fentanyl is China. The whole tariff is because of fentanyl. It's not Trump doesn't like Trudeau and Trudeau likes Trump or whatever. It is basically the fentanyl which has caused the fiasco. Even in Mexico, it's the fentanyl and the immigrants. So look at how the things are shaping up. Now, with all those things happening, what I think that, the tariffs is a good way for the Americans to at least gain a lot of lost ground. Today, Mexicans are cracking at drug cartels. They are cracking at illegals. Canada has woken up. Their fuzzy universities have stopped issuing those student visas and getting people and getting them to cross over the border. Panu is gone, is missing. And a lot of these rats have stopped coming in. So again, the problem here is not to contain China, is not to contain Canada or Mexico. Again, the idea here is to contain China through Canada and Mexico. If tomorrow Canada and Mexico scuttle their relations with China or don't play the game with China, what they've been playing, I think there'll be no need of tariffs. And remember one thing, I told you yesterday, look, US imports 3 trillion, exports 2 trillion. China imports less than 2 trillion and exports 3.1 trillion. So there is this 1 trillion which is hanging here and there. Trump wants to say, either if I'm importing 2, I'm exporting 2. Or I'm importing 2, I'm exporting 3.5. But there is no way I can be importing 3 and exporting 2. So I have to balance this out. I have to balance this out. That's what this whole dispute is about. Today, tariffs are used as a weapon to control a lot of political problems without firing a bullet. That's how I look at it.
And on tariffs, there's a very detailed explanation by Sree Iyer App IOS that came about 24 hours ago. Do look at that. Go to PGurus channel and search on Sree Iyer, SRIDHAR, and you'll get that video. Or we can even put the video link here in the chat mode. Amravati today, thank you so much for the super sticker. And 𝗤𝗘𝗿 𝗔 wants to know, Sumitji, is there any diplomatic relationship between India and South Korea?
North Korea.
Oh, sorry, North Korea. South Korea we do.
we missed the point of Kim firing the missiles. I think we missed that, right?
Yeah.
Just touch at 2 minutes on it. Look, and there is a what do you call a military exercise happening called Freedom Shield, and it's happening in the waters of South Korea. And there's a bit of political fiasco also in South Korea. The exercise is exclusively between Americans and South Koreans, and this will go up to 21st March. Some very advanced weapons are being used, and Kim sees this exercise as a provocation. Accidentally, South Koreans kind of bombed one of their own villages, but it was a mistake, and some 31 people got injured. Kim is saying that if you come and bomb this here, this can start the war and this can destabilize the whole of the, Korean Peninsula. So why is Kim, whenever Kim gets irritated or agitated, he starts firing missiles. So Kim is firing missiles to basically send a message to Americans and to send a message to South Koreans. Do not do it. Kim sees the political instability in South Korea as an opportunity. Kim sees that the Russians are busy, Russians and Americans are busy getting their deal. Kim sees that Trump is busy with a lot of things. But there are 3 advantages what we had, but we did not have 3 months back. Trump has some kind of a relation with Kim. Kim has developed a very good thing in Putin. And India somehow also has some leverage with North Korea. I'm not sure, do we have a high commission there or not? I think we have something. At a very small level, we have something there. And you see, Kim has never spoken anything against India. So with these 3 countries, that is Americans, Russians, and Indians out of the B4, having some cordial relations or some basic relations with Kim, we should be able to contain this man. Kim was very dangerous when he was in the camp of Chinese a few months back, which successfully is moved to the Russian side. That is how I look at it. Next question. Sree Iyer पूछ रहे हैं, it appears that Israel has shut down power to Gaza. How much does it, what does it indicate? Yeah, Israel has shut down power to Gaza, and even the water supplies might be cut by this time as we are talking. Before the peace negotiations have started, Israel is increasing the ante. So with power cut and even the water supplies being cut, really this will put a lot of pressure on Hamas. And Hamas has come to the table. Hamas has to give hostages. And this is basically after the posturing of the Arab League. This is basically after UK, Italy, France and Germany, along with the United Nations, literally screwed Trump and sided the motion of Egypt, wherein they said, oh, we will not move the people out of Gaza, we'll put $53 billion and we'll use this material to build a port, a fishing port and an airport in Gaza. So after that, Trump has really fumed, and I think it's in retaliation of that. What Israelis have done, they've just cut the power, and I think that by this time, as we are talking, the water might have been already also cut going to Gaza. Enjoy.
Sree Vignesh wants to know, sir, good evening. Is there any kill switch that with the US to make F-35 to Europe and F-16 to Ukraine inoperative? That is correct. On drop of a hat, there is a kill switch. Please explain why Europe is in panic. There is a kill switch. Yes.
There is a kill switch. There is a kill switch. F-16 100% has, and even in F-35 you can limit it to a grade X. F-16 has a on-off kind of a thing, and with F-35 you can limit it to a grade panic. Look, Europe is in panic, brother, because Europe's existence has been with the belief that America is covering my back. When America is not covering your back, even with all your might, what we did, what we are the first channel to tell you, if Europe throws everything, including the kitchen sink, with Zelensky, still Zelensky will not win this war. Now, they are all admitting it. You see, what they talked about, what if Elon Musk was away? What will 𝗟𝗡𝗙 do? 𝗟𝗡𝗙, I'm not saying the guys are bad, but they are not at that level what Elon Musk operates. So, with the American intelligence and all gone, and America not being an ally, Europe will break. And I have discussed a scenario. If Europe goes and fights Putin, it's an advantage to Trump, because destroyed Europe and weakened Russia is an advantage to Trump, and that will increase the stature of dollar globally. Now, second possibility, European Union breaks. People will start walking out. Again, where is the euro? Euro is gone. So 20% your reserves, which are in euro, again, about that 20, another 80, 70% will go back to dollar or more. So dollar will have 75 to 80% of the global market share. Again, advantage to Trump. So I think the current generation of leaders which are running Europe, either they are sellouts or they don't know what they are doing. And I don't believe as politicians, they don't know what they are doing. I think they have deep-rooted vested interest with the deep state of China. They're just playing their game. I understand Zelensky being a crazy man, but I don't understand how Macron and Keir Starmer have been lately behaving. It's beyond the common sense. What Trump and Putin said is beyond common sense.
Venkatesan wants to know, wonderful listening to both of you. It's heard that these Americans are talking to Hamas directly without Israel. Is it true? If it is really sad.
We talked about that. We have covered this, my friend. Yes, they were talking to Hamas. The idea was that they wanted those 2 American hostages to be released, which Hamas refused. And even, Steve Witkoff had found some people who wanted to go directly. You know why? I'll tell you why. Benjamin Netanyahu ducked this question. And I told you, $2.3 billion were sent by Joe Biden to Hamas after 7th October.
Through USAID. Yeah.
Through USAID after the carnage. After the carnage.
Correct. Because they wanted to keep Israel in check. Yes.
They wanted to keep Israel in check. And let me be frank today. If I know what Qataris are made up of, you can't trust these for anything. Do you think Trump doesn't understand it? So when Qataris are saying, sir, I'll negotiate, sir, I'll negotiate. Well, Al-Thayani wants to get into every negotiation. Why do you think Trump doesn't understand what he's doing? Do you think Mossad doesn't know what they are doing? So Trump started an alternate channel where Steve Witkoff got some of the people he trusted and they directly reached Hamas. Because ultimately, nobody trusts Qatar. But it's a necessary evil you have to live with for some time. I mean, I've been very candid. I don't mince my words. Like I did with YouTube or TV. Nobody trusts Qatar, and Qatar should not be trusted. They are the only country in the world, and even worse than Iran, they find any and every kind of terrorism, any and every kind of Islamic terror, anywhere in the world, Qataris will fight. And where was the top leadership of Hamas living? They were all living in Qatar. Let's not forget that.
Sumiji, speaking of Qatar, do you know why Modi went and received the Emir at the airport?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Yeah. We discussed that, sir.
No, but do you know why?
Because this India has done this 30 billion investments with the Americans, and another $10 billion of investment in the Virginia for the natural gas. There's a big slack which is coming in. Qatar is losing its position in the global sphere of things, and there are a lot of Indians which are still living in Qatar. So I think Qataris wanted to come and meet Modi, because if India walks out, which is the second biggest gas buyer, whatever the vacuum is left, Qatar cannot survive on China only and be up and running. So that is my take on it. You tell me, sir.
No, why Modi has to go to the airport? There's no need to break protocol, is what I was saying. Okay. There is a special gesture. If somebody does that, it is a special gesture that you are my great friend or something like that. See, why I'm saying is, when somebody does something, you have to have consequences. Qatar, based on what that rascal Zubair wrote, okay, created a huge ruckus in Nupur Sharma's case, where Correct. 10 Indian citizens have died. Why is US now holding out, talking to Hamas for 2 citizens? Because it values the lives of its citizens. If India values the lives of Indian citizens, then should Modi have gone to the airport to receive him? I'm asking a simple question. If it is an overriding reason, I would like to know why. I would like the nation to know why.
I think one of the reasons was because, our 10 people of the Navy were on a death row in Qatar.
That was a cooked up case. That was a cooked up case.
That was a cooked up case, but that was 𝗖𝗍 behind it. I think that point of time, Modi ji used his whatever goodwill he had, and he got all those 10 men out, which was unheard and unseen in the Middle East. I think maybe because today Qatar is worried, sir. Americans are leaving Qatar. We will find our alternatives to natural gas. So these people are really rattled, and somewhere down the line, India doesn't trust them, America doesn't trust them, even for that matter, even Hamas doesn't trust them. Even Hamas doesn't trust them. Do Saudis trust them? MBS doesn't trust Qatar by any chance. Who trusts Qatar? Nobody trusts Qatar. But again, abhi hai, jab tak chal raha. That is a different thing.
See, my information about Qatar and Indian Navy personnel is that Qatar was starting to build its own navy.
Yeah.
It was buying submarines and other aircraft, destroyers, whatever the naval aircraft, and it needed people to man it until it got its own people to come up to speed. So what was happening was Qatar was recruiting people from Pakistani Navy, primarily Pakistani Navy, and India said, wait a minute, if these guys go and fill them up, then there could be a problem. And they found out from Qatar if they would be open to hiring Indian Navy personnel also. And this was an agency that was doing the whole enabling. And they said, yeah, sure.
Everything by paper.
Yeah. So, and that's how ex-Indian Navy personnel started working in Qatar, to try and keep that balance rather than run away with one side. Look, there is a problem with this religion, huge problem. Until I see some really respected preacher come and explain that this is not what Islam is all about, this will continue. Okay, you guys have a huge problem. Huge problem.
Correct. Absolutely right. No worries.
Yeah. Next one, please. Sree Vignesh wants to know, sir, good evening. Is there any kill switch to make? Yeah, we've done this question. Next one, please. Thank you, Cosmic Reason, for your super sticker. Thank you, Yogesh Wadhwa. Maithili wants to know, Sumiji, was this act of Putin a collaborated effort with Trump?
Looks to be, ma'am. Looks to be.
Not sure. I would say that far, Sumiji. Look, US still wants to help Ukraine. I don't think he wants to kill more people than what is necessary. But see, this is mauke pe chauka. Think of it that way, Maithili ji. It is a mauke pe chauka. That's it.
Need of the hour.
Yeah. So happens what to do. Manov-san wants to know, West armed Afghans against USSR, but then abandoned them and got blowback on 9/11. Now they have been arming Ukraine and may abandon them too. Will some blowback happen from Ukrainians? If so, how?
No, because Ukrainians will be controlled by Putin. And Putin wants the territory and he will control them. There might be some incidents here and there. Look, with Afghanistan and all, it's the religion. It is the religion which is driving everything. When Afghan is born, he doesn't know when he has to die. He's just waiting to get killed one day. And he believes he will get Jannat and all and all. But in Ukrainians, they are not as crazy and as illiterate as these Afghani jihadis. So there's a difference. There it is motivated by religion. Here it's a logic which motivates it. If you kill the logic, the deterrence might be killed. But here, religion is up, living and surviving. There's no way you will not have a new breed of jihadis coming. Always a new breed of jihadis will erupt.
𝗠𝗢𝗏 wants to know, Sumit, do US have any friendly country now under present Trump government who can trust him? Your views, please.
It's not a question of trust, my friend. It's a question of transitional relation. You know, एक कहावत है ना हिंदी में, पानी में रह के मगरमच्छ से बाहर नहीं लेते. Nobody likes the मगरमच्छ though.
Cosmic Reason wants to know, sir, why doesn't India have its own YouTube alternative? Prolonging YouTube will never be in our favor. She said, do we lack money to do it, or developer, or it's futile idea?
We have no dearth of money. It's just a question of getting up and running. India has a lot of priorities. So I think we had a drawback when we lost coup, in my opinion. We should have not lost coup. And so there's a time you have to eventually start making of your own. But at the same time, we don't want to be seen behaving like China, where everybody were cutting off people from everything else. I believe continue what we have, but you should have your own alternates also. If push comes to shove, you have an alternate ready. If that is not a logic, you are buying all the best aircrafts in the world. Why are you making 𝗏𝗏 and 𝗏𝗏𝗃 and all? Because at the same time, you need to be Atmanirbhar.
Viewers, I have a question for all of you. How many of you have installed the new PGurus app? Because I told you version 2.4.0 or later gives you exclusive content, which means we are actually acting like YouTube. And we have put 2 videos so far, I think, or more than that, 2 or 3 videos. And there it is essentially like YouTube channel. All you need to do is to install the app, whether it is Android or iOS. You install the PGurus app, and then you go to the media button and then click on exclusive content. That's only on PGurus app. It's not anywhere else. This is exactly what Sumit is saying. This is my 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. PGurus is 𝗏𝗏𝗏. We are trying to be careful just in case. We never know. Padma Kumar wants to know. So I encourage all of you to install the app and then give it a shot. We are actually quite fast. We load it as fast as YouTube does. Everything we are doing like YouTube. The experience is the same. Same resolution, same everything. Just take a look at it. Padma Kumar wants to know, how is Russia going to decouple from China? Good question.
It's already happening. We discussed on the end game China, because the coupling was out of compulsion, not option, not out of friendship, goodwill and all. There was a compulsion. When slowly West starts easing sanctions on it, or at least give India an exception. If you want to, I'm giving a suggestion, bold suggestion. If you don't want a lot of things to happen, take all the sanctions, give India the green light to help Russia wherever it can. We can decouple Russia from China with a matter of months. We have the capability, we can do it. So the Trump to say, okay, India is an exception. Job will be done in 2 quarters. Answer.
Ashutosh Datta wants to know, Sumitji, believe it or not, I was quite skeptic when Afghan peace deal was carried out at Qatar and 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 led USA. Again, was chosen as the venue for Israel versus Hamas leaders was safe in Qatar.
Qatar, is trying to become that big boy of the Middle East and trying to say, I'm the peace maker and all. But now MBS has stepped into the arena, and MBS has started, really giving a run for money to the Qatar, what we explained right now. So eventually it is the Saudis who will take over. Qataris, with their dubious track record, won't be able to play this game too long. Because look, Trump knows who funded Hamas. And it's not about now Trump. This report was given by Shin Bet. This report is officially given by Shin Bet, the IB of Israel in a way.
Next one, please. Sanjay wants to know, why didn't Russia take over directly Kyiv via Belarus, and why in unfavorable weather conditions in February they did ground attack and got hit by NATO sitting ducks?
Look, it was not easy because Belarus doesn't want directly to get into the conflict. Otherwise, they will also become a part of the war. One second thing,
sanctions.
They will get part of the war. Second thing is that there was a lot of American intelligence and American firewalls which were in place. They were making things difficult. Look, in last 2 days, they have just fallen. No American firewall. See how the 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏 region has literally fallen. It's the resistance. What it was almost 80% of the world with Zelensky trying to stop Russians.
That's it for today. Thank you so much, Sumit-ji, and what a session it was. Thank you so much once again, Sumit-ji. And viewers will be back tomorrow with Sumit-ji in Hindi, and come back and join us because a lot of things are happening very, very fast. Namaskar. Let's get the Ashirwad of Mahadev-ji now.
Now, I have to request everybody, like, share, subscribe, let us grow and help us to grow. On that note, Bharat Mata ki jai, Vande Mataram, and Har 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 Mahadev.